So intermediate, this is our second review lesson, and we are looking at be, have and do as a main verb and as an auxiliary verb. Now, when we use be, have and do as a main verb, which means whenever we write a sentence, it's the main verb, it is the only verb, the tenses that come out are either going to be present simple or past simple. So with the verb to be, I am Mike, or I was here yesterday. With the verb do, I do my homework every weekend, I did my homework last Sunday. Present simple, past simple. I have a book, I had an exam last month. Present simple, past simple. These verbs are the only verbs in the sentence. That's really important to remember. But when we use these verbs as auxiliary verbs, something happens. So, if we use the verb do, either in like do or don't, or does and doesn't in the present, or did or didn't in the past, these auxiliary verbs are used with present simple and past simple only, and only in questions and negatives, only questions and negatives. Because if we use them in the positive, they'll be up here as the main verb. So in the negative, we'll say something like, I don't go out every week, where the auxiliary verb is don't and the main verb is go. And we have to look at these two verbs and we have to go, aha, don't, that's present. Oh, it must be present simple. Ah, I get it. Or we'd use like did, like I didn't go out last night. Didn't, past. Ah, past simple. Or questions. Did you do that yesterday? Or did you see my friend yesterday? Or when did you see my friend? Or when do you go to the gym? How often do you go to the gym? And we look at these two verbs. This is the difference. With an auxiliary verb, there'll always be a main verb. And we look at these two verbs to find out the tense. And the reason we need to look at the two is just in case there's only one. You know, you say, have, and where's the other verb? Where's the other verb? Oh, there isn't. Present simple. Oh, have, and the verb is stolen. Oh, present perfect. Have. So it's about looking at these two verbs and trying to understand the name of the tense. And looking at the two just in case there's only one. And if there's only one, it fits up here. So going back here, do, don't, does, doesn't, did, didn't. When they are used as auxiliary verbs, the tenses can only be present simple, do, don't, does, doesn't, or past simple, did or didn't. And only, remember, questions and negatives. All of the others are for everything. Questions, positives, negatives, everything, really. With have, has, had, and the verb to be as well, is as an auxiliary verb. Back to this one here, have, has and had, when they're used as auxiliary verbs, so there's a main verb, we're going to be looking at present perfect or past perfect only. And don't worry about trying to understand why we use that for now. It's just nice to know that, to recognise these two, the two verbs and what the name of the tense is. That's the work for now. And finally, I think probably the most complicated one, because there are so many variations of it, am, is or are, present, was and were, past, being, continuous, been, something to do with a perfect probably, and be as an infinitive with words with something else. I know what it is, but I don't want to say yet because the next video. We use these for all of the continuous tenses. So here's present continuous. I am seeing my friend later. Or come on in, Adriana, that's fine. Or he is drinking with his mates down the pub tomorrow. Or I am teaching right now. Something like that. Was and were for past continuous. I wasn't teaching yesterday, for example. Then we use being for different tenses as well. We use been as a third column tense and be for other things. These will become more apparent later, okay? because we don't just use them for continuous tenses, we use them for passive tenses as well. So these come up a lot in passive, these three, passive. Okay? That's about all I really want to say on that right now. Just remember, the work here is to look at a sentence and look at the two verbs and trying to say, is it one of these auxiliary verbs with the main verb? It's going to be present simple or past simple. One of these with the main verb, present perfect or past perfect. Or the verb to be, is it a continuous, present continuous, past continuous, or is it a passive tense? And of course, remember to look at the two, because if there's only one, it'll be something up here. It'll be a main verb, and it'll either be present simple or past simple only. Thanks.